Hey troops, it's Roy from Geeks Adventures. Woohoo! Broadcasting from the green couch in the Clintonville section of Columbus, Ohio. So, taking a little time to absorb the final season of Voltron Season 8. Woo! Yeah. I've seen a lot of reactions to Season 8. Um, you want to talk about divisive. This is turning into something up there with like, hey, so what'd you think of the Star Trek reboot? Ooh, hey, what'd you think of Star Wars: The Last Jedi? Hey, what'd you think about the way they ended Voltron Season 8? Wow. All right. The quickie, non-spoiler filled reaction. I liked it. It wasn't perfect. It's not as good as some of the previous seasons, but as a way to wrap things up, as a way to do it in a different direction, a different way to not be the umpteenth military sci-fi thing and do it with a long bunch of battles, yada yada yada. Not a bad idea. Again, not perfect by any means, but I liked it. Okay, all right. Spoiler shield. If you've watched it already, you know what spoiler I'm talking about because that's the only one that matters. Everything else, whatever. But there's one, okay? So, all right. You've been warned, okay? You in the back talking to your friend. Yeah, you over there. You've been warned, right? Okay, here we go. So, season 8. The way seasons have progressed, um, they've always been this combination of one shots along with ones that are intricately connected. This season feels a lot more like a very tightly woven series of episodes. I think just because it's the last one, let's try and tie up as many loose ends as we can, bring it all together, so that whenever Netflix figures out what they're gonna do next, we can get it done. So as you recall from the end of season 7, the Voltron collision is kind of doing a Star Trek thing and setting up roots in Earth, which really isn't a bad idea considering that after the giant time jump from season 7, most of the coalition was kind of getting its butt kicked. And actually, one of the things you discover in season 8, hey, I wasn't kidding about spoiler shield, all right. In that vast, at the end of season 7, you got the impression, okay, things have changed. The ramifications of that giant span of time where Voltron was just poof really hit hard. Allies and races that you thought were still around, not anymore. Which is one of the things that made the series so powerful and just kind of got you in the gut. The fact that in characters, and in this case whole races that were really awesome and cool, perished. At this point, though, basically, after the great battle and seeing the Atlas go from, ooh, cool starship to, oh my god, the SDF one ain't got nothing on this ship. The coalition's getting ready to try and strike back and try and reclaim territory and yada, yada, yada. One of the interesting things that changes, though, is because you have this giant schism in the Galra Empire because we ain't got no idea who's in charge. Rather than being the usual kind of Return of the Jedi, Return of the King, we're going to capture all these groups. There are random pockets within the Galra Empire. Some of them who are still all, rah! Some of them who are like, kind of done. And in some of the episodes, you run into actually some Gara characters who basically go to, Voltron is back, and they go, "You told us you were coming back, mofo, and then you disappeared for how long?" The reality of these things, it really kind of, again, like I said, kind of adds layers to the story. And while they're trying to while the Voltron coalition is trying to reclaim all this, bring it all back together, Minerva's getting a little crazy. There is the second episode, the first episode, kind of emphasized the fact that how interconnected everything is. It's literally just chapter 1 of all these episodes. Literally, it's a housekeeping episode. What's happening to everyone, what the plan is as far as taking on the goal run, etc., etc. Some ways kind of boring. I mean, it's 23 minutes of tactics and strategy, all very important, yada yada yada. But this is what But in the end, in the scope of the entire story, stuff you gotta do. It's got to be established. Episode 2, we find out what Minerva's up to, and the fact that she snapped. Not that Minerva was ever really all that stable anyway, but it's a giant flashback about what happened to her, what things happened with her and Zarkon. It's really tragic, also, in that you see what happened, how much she's lost, things that happened to Lotor when he was born. So you can kind of see. And it kind of breaks your heart. It's really a sad thing to watch. And as the story develops forward, basically, what you discover is that this is no longer the strategic kind of reclaiming territory. Minerva she's raging. She's lost everything. So her plan now is to get her life back. And you're going, well, huh? Literally get her life back. As in to take all this quintessence, all of this technology, and find a reality that restores her family. Yeah, that's messed up. So I mean, one of the analogies I make is this is kind of like Kill Bill Volume 2 from, you remember Kill Bill, Uma Thurman and the Bride Revenge. Kind of like that Volume 2. Actually, in a lot of ways, like Kill Bill. In that one, she is out for revenge and doesn't care what she destroys or who she kills. Number 2, the fact that the tone changes. Like I said, in the beginning of the series, you've got this whole military sci-fi thing going on, sort of, kind of. Not hardcore, but you get the idea. Now it's a personal vendetta. This is a very personal story, which in some ways makes it easier to complete things, hypothetically, because you're not doing hey, we need to reclaim all these planets and systems, which they've been doing for seven seasons anyway. And now it's kind of turned into this very personal, raging story. Let's see here. The way the series ends is a very, in the end, everything, they do manage to save the universe, literally. And the way it ends is kind of atypical. What happens is they kind of do a Babylon 5. Yeah, I'm crossing streams all over the place. They do kind of a take from Babylon 5. When Babylon 5 ended, not ended, but the last episode they did happened down the road, like about, 10 years down the road, something like that. This one happens a year down the road. After everything's come to pass, things have kind of settled down a little bit. You see where everyone is, what everyone's doing. And I kind of like that. Hey, we're going to cross streams again. Kind of like Return of the King-ish, in that it doesn't just end here. Things progress, things change, things grow. Things I liked about the series. One of the fun things too that happened. One of the things that unfortunately that I missed in this season, you don't get to see Voltron a whole lot. It's called Voltron. I mean, within the context of the story, I understand, but on the other hand, it's Voltron. Come on, more mechs, more. bing, 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 fight, fight, pew, pew. I mean, not a ton, okay, but oh, missed that. On the other hand, when the big guy showed up, dang. In the final episode, we get introduced to the Atlas. Um, and actually, one of the wonderful things is that, okay, you took a while to see mechs. Last two episodes, boy, did you get to see cool mechs. Honorva, of course, designs her own mech. This giant thing looks like the mechs from Zone of Enders, the video game. Very kind of insectoid-ish with these giant kind of, wingy things. She merges with Lotor's mech and creates this even bigger, like, giant, massive thing. So, of course, you try and fight. It's not going well with either the Atlas or with Voltron. So, of course, you find a way because technology, a giant, butt-kicking, awesome, magnificent mech with a sword that's like 3 miles tall. It's wonderful. It's gratuitous. It's silly. It's ridiculous. It's awesome. Yay. Also, another really, really cool thing. They brought back the silly episodes. They're still linked with everything going on. But there is a day in the life that was it day 47. It's a day in the life episode, and this one guy is just doing a documentary and filming all the stuff that's going on. Some goofy stuff, some serious stuff. And the other one, oh shoot, what was it called? It was called Life Day or something. Yeah, and some of you Star Wars fans are cringing, going, "Don't use that name." For you young ones, talk to a Star Wars fan. You'll make them cry if you mention Life Day. But anyway, the one-shot episode is happening on a carnival on a planet. It's a lot of fun. You get to see the guys loosen up a lot. You get to see Shiro arm wrestle. It's cool as heck. It was a lot of fun. Let's talk about the ultimate spoiler that had people kind of going, Allura dies. It's alluded to in the beginning of the series that, she has a unique connection with the quintessence and blah, 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 blah. Quasi-mystical, science-y, manipulate energy, yada, 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 yada. I wasn't kidding about spoilers. Remember that. She is the only way. She along with working with some other folks is the only way to save the universe. Reaction's been strong and freaky. I've got mixed reactions to it because on the one hand, it adds weight to the story. I mean, what makes Return of the King so powerful is the fact that not everybody comes back. Characters you love like Theoden die. On the other hand, in some ways, it's a trope. Hey, let's knock someone off to add a little emotional oomph to the story. Really? And the other thing is, well, did you have to kill her? I mean, some things like, let's go back to Return of the King. When Boromir dies, there's a sense of logic to it. He's been kind of twitchy around the ring, gives us a sense of redemption. Theoden, here's a guy who's actually kind of waiting to pass on. Kind of looks like he's got a bit of a death wish, actually, if you think about it. So his passing makes sense. Allura, so I'm kind of on the fence on that. So yeah. So what is the last call on this? I still liked it. Not perfect by any means, as I've been talking about this entire time. Things that are, why'd you do it that way? Things that went, oh, missed that. But overall, not as good as some of the other seasons, especially season 7. I loved season 7. That was epic. But overall, a good way to end things. To bring closure to the entire series. And I know that a lot of fans have been going, what are you going to do next? Talking about Die Ruger 15, the idea of bringing the vehicle Voltron team in. The thing to keep in mind is that Netflix has big issues right now. And with the coming of Disney Plus, and a big chunk of their content is going to be really fast. So right now, it's not just Voltron. Everything, what series are coming back, what series aren't coming back, how much money they got. If you want to go into some really boring reading, I guess there are articles floating around about how much dang money are these fools going to throw at content. So honestly, this is going to be a big question. Hopefully, come San Diego Comic Con in July, we'll have some. What I'm personally hoping is that they've got a whole lot of stuff planned, but Netflix is keeping everything tight because they're still trying to figure out what the heck they're doing. But cross your appendages, they have something ready to go, and then come Comic Con, they'll be like, yeah, and we'll be going, yeah, baby. So cross all your appendages, folks. So there you go. Yeah. So hey, not great. I can see why. I can certainly understand why some people are kind of about it. But I liked it. Just be prepared. All right, be prepared. So there you go. Hey, y'all have a good rest of the weekend. For those of you who are trapped in the middle of this crazy winter storm, please be careful out there. May the force be with you. May the odds be in your favor, especially if you do have to go out in this muck out there. And as always, be good to each other, okay, folks? Peace. Bye.